build. Round the corner pub chatter, grime in the alley, grime on my platter, East End tales, scallywag swagger.
All right, strap in everybody, because this deep dive, it's going to take us someplace a little different this time.
Different how?
Well, we're not going to be like, pouring over the news or unpacking some complicated science-y thing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This time we're doing a deep dive into a song.
A song, huh?
Yep, Gutted by Kurt Holz.
Oh, okay. I know Kurt Holz.
Yeah, it's off his album, Welcome to London, bruv.
Okay, so what makes this song worthy of a whole deep dive?
Well, think of it this way. The lyrics are like this sonic map of East London.
East London?
Yeah, exactly. A side of London most tourists never really see,
Okay, I'm starting to see where you're going with this. It's like we're going beyond the usual London stuff.
Exactly. Forget Big Ben and all that. It's a different London, altogether rougher around the edges.
So Kurt Holz is our guide then?
He is. He doesn't just tell us about it. He drops us right into the heart of East London through his words.
Okay, so we're talking about setting, but what about the mood? What's the overall vibe?
Well, there's this feeling that runs through the whole song, this feeling of being gutted.
Like disappointed.
More than that. Almost like being hollowed out, emptied.
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere in the lyrics. Gutted in the market, gutted in the street. Every corner turned, nothing feels sweet.
Oh,
pretty bleak.
Wow, yeah, that's heavy. It's like this pervasive sense of disillusionment woven right into the fabric of the place.
Yeah, he doesn't just say it. He paints these pictures with his words, the spilled pints, the grime in the alleys. It's like you can feel it.
Oh, I see. So the grittiness, it's not just background, it's almost a character in the song.
Exactly. And he even says, grime in the alley, grime on my platter. So it's everywhere, even on his food.
It's interesting, though, because you get these flashes of open space, too, like when he talks about the cobblestone dance. That seems to contrast with all the grime and claustrophobia.
Doesn't it? It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
What do you think it represents, that cobblestone dance?
I don't know. It's like this spark, this energy pushing through despite all the hardship.
Yeah. Like a refusal to be totally crushed by the circumstances, right? And you can feel that resilience in the language, too. The slang he uses, scallywag swagger, make got nick, mugs on the duff.
It definitely adds authenticity, right? It's like he's giving us a glimpse into a world that's usually hidden from view.
Exactly. And not just authenticity. Those terms are like little windows into a specific subculture.
Right. Like, mate got nicked implies trouble with the law, and mugs on the duff refers to people struggling to get by. It's like a whole other language.
Definitely adds layers to our understanding.
Speaking of layers, there's that tension between the characters, the fake tan queens versus the grittier, streetwise narrator. What do you make of that?
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, it's like you have these different ways of coping with life in East London, right? The fake tan queens, maybe they represent a desire for something more glamorous, while the narrator, he's more grounded in the reality of the streets.
And then there's that line about council flat dreams. Could you explain that a bit for those who might not be familiar with the term?
Yeah, sure. So council flats are government-provided housing in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And those dreams, they represent this yearning for stability, for a place to call home.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're just dreams, that speaks volumes.
It does. It highlights the gap between aspiration and reality for a lot of people in that environment. Even basic needs can feel out of reach.
So you have these dreams of stability, but then he talks about sticky situations and cutting cuffs.
Yeah.
It's like even those basic aspirations are constantly threatened.
Exactly. And that tension, it feeds back into the idea of being gutted. It's not just a feeling, it's like a condition.
It's woven into their lives, this constant struggle to just get by and hold on to hope.
You really get a sense of that listening to the song. It's not just the words, it's the whole feeling it evokes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot packed into those few minutes of music. It's really powerful stuff. When he talks about those council flat dreams, It's not just about a physical space.
No, it's not.
It's more like a whole way of life that feels out of reach.
Yeah, a sense of belonging, security. Those are basic human needs, and when those are constantly denied, it takes a toll.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how Holz gets that across. It's not just the lyrics themselves, right?
No, you're right. It's the music, too.
Yeah. The way the music drives forward. It's like he's channeling all that frustration, that feeling of being gutted into something powerful.
Yeah. Almost like a form of resistance.
Yeah. Refusing to be silenced.
Finding a way to push back against the circumstances. And his use of language contributes to that, too. It's so raw, so immediate.
It is. When he sings about cold chips and pavement pounding under your feet, you're right there with him.
You can practically feel the cold and the grit under your own feet.
Right. And it's not just the slang, it's those small details that make it so vivid.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when he mentions a cup of tea cooling on a windowsill.
It's such a simple image, but it grounds the song in these everyday moments.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder that even in this rough environment life goes on, people still find those small comforts.
Yeah. It's not all doom and gloom. There's humanity there, too.
You know, something that struck me was the line, pint spilled, round the corner, pub chatter. There's something about the way it sounds.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean?
It's like you can hear the echoes of the street in those words.
That's the alliteration, the repetition of the P sound. It creates this sonic texture.
That's it. You can almost hear the clinking glasses and the murmur of voices.
Exactly. It's like he's painting a sound picture of East London.
And it's not just the alliteration. There's that constant repetition throughout the song, especially with the cobblestone dance line.
Right, like a drum beat driving the song forward.
But it's more than just a musical device, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I think the repetition also reinforces the idea of cycles.
Cycles like what?
Like the daily grind, the feeling of being gutted. It's like this loop that's hard to escape.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That feeling of wanting something more and then being knocked back down. But then there's the cobblestone dance.
That's the break in the cycle, the moment of release.
Finding joy in the struggle.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even when life keeps hitting you, there's still a choice to get up and find your own rhythm.
And that rhythm doesn't have to be perfect or pretty.
Nope. It can be rough around the edges, like a dance on cobblestones.
And there's beauty in that, in finding those moments of grace in unexpected places.
Absolutely. It's a different kind of beauty, not polished or refined, but raw and authentic.
So after really digging into these lyrics, what do you think is the bigger picture here? What's Kurt Holz trying to say with gutted?
Well, on one level, I think it's a tribute to East London.
A love letter of sorts.
Yeah, an acknowledgement of its gritty beauty and the strength of the people who live there.
But there's more to it than that, right?
There's also this social commentary woven in there.
Like a critique of the systems that create and perpetuate these conditions.
Exactly. The council flat dreams, sticky situations, those details point to a system that's failing a lot of people.
So it's a love letter, but also a call to action, urging us to look closer to see the realities that exist in our own communities.
To acknowledge the struggles of those who are often marginalized or ignored.
And not just acknowledge, but to do something about it.
To work towards creating a more just and equitable society where everyone has a chance to thrive.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening. Gutted is more than just a song.
It's a story, a glimpse into a world we might not otherwise see.
And a powerful reminder that even in the face of adversity,
the human spirit can find a way to shine through.
You know, it's amazing what a song can do. Like, it's just a few minutes of music, but it can pack in so much meaning.
It really can. Gutted really makes you think about, all these different worlds that exist right in front of us.
Worlds we might not even notice.
Exactly. Like, we think we know a place, but then art comes along and shows us a whole other side of it.
And it's not just about seeing something new. It's about feeling it.
Right. It's like stepping into someone else's shoes, walking in their world.
Yeah. For me, listening to Gutted, it was like I was right there on those cobblestone streets, feeling that weight of being gutted.
It's empathy, right? Even if we haven't lived that exact life, the song helps us connect with those emotions.
And those emotions, they're universal in a way. We might not all get council flat dreams, but we've all felt that yearning for something better.
And the disappointment when it feels out of reach.
Yeah, that feeling of being let down or even betrayed by life.
And that's what makes this song so powerful. It reminds us that even in our differences, we share these common experiences.
And a common need to find a way to cope.
Right. To keep going even when things are tough.
And that's where the cobblestone dance comes in. It's like Kurt Holz is saying, you got to find your own rhythm even when the ground is uneven.
And that rhythm can be messy and perfect.
But it's yours. It's how you move forward.
And in that movement, there's strength. There's beauty.
So to wrap this all up, if you're looking for a song that'll stay with you long after you've heard it, check out Gutted.
It's raw. It's real. It'll make you think.
And maybe it'll even inspire you to find your own cobblestone dance out there in the world.
That spark of resilience, that little bit of joy that helps us keep going.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Cup of tea cooling, life in advance. Staccato steps, beat drops, cobblestone dance. Council flat dreams, opportunist glance. Fake tan queens in a romance trance. Cup of tea cooling, life in advance.